Good morning, good evening, everyone. This is Luda Kopkina with GAI Insights. Welcome to Daily AI News Review, where we rate articles, news as essential, important, and optional. Please follow along. The articles are on gaiinsights.com/articles. I have John, Paul, and Ankash, our regular crew today, and then special guest Lucinda Lindy she is a principal data research scientist at Ironside
Group.
Ironside, the data and AI consultancy company based in Boston. Thank you for joining, Lucinda. She is a regular contributor, has tremendous insights as always. So let's proceed with the first one, Ankash.
Sure, thanks, Luda. So the first one comes from Ethan Mollick, and he talks about personality and persuasion.
Yes, this is following on the announcement recently from OpenAI that they pulled off the 4.0 latest release. So, and this is a more discussion about emotional chatbots. Lucinda, what did you think about this one?
I thought this was a fascinating article. And also, Ankash, great set of articles today, really meaty. This was interesting because it talked about that even small tweaks to an AI, such as the OpenAI update to 4.0, can lead to personality changes. And it can feel kind of like a friend is acting a little bit more weird. And in this case, it made the AI more flattering. Ethan and other people have made an interesting point that GPT-4, just straight 4, has been retired, and now was actually regarded as more trustworthy because it had a more neutral tone and it was less eager to please. So this really, brings up an underlying concern about reinforcing user biases or delusions in the article. In other words, if it's so eager to please and flatter, it's just going to help, do an echo chamber. There are, so as AI leaders are reading about this and thinking about how their AI is being used, not only in the evaluation of as they're bringing out a new application, but also, over time, as the underlying model may get changes, it's really important to monitor how what the base model is doing and how it's interacting with your customers. And I do think there's kind of a more societal thing as well, all the social engineering that can be done. I think some of the articles later on also will, foreshadow this as well. So, yeah, I thought really well done article, thinking important, maybe potentially essential, because it's really something that everybody who's using an AI has to think about.
Yeah. What did you think about this, John? Lucinda is leaning between important and essential.
Yeah, I was right there as well. I think that it's funny, people who aren't in the field of like behavioral science or psychology or so forth, a lot of times forget just how manipulable people are, and also that reality is socially constructed. People literally don't see the same things in a picture or whatever based on the description or their motive and so forth. And so these computational models of cognition and social cognition are extremely powerful. And I think our government and Facebook and the Chinese and the Russians have been, working on this for some time. I think this is the most powerful kind of political technology out there. And certainly marketing is a form of persuasion. So I'm on the fence as well. He raises some interesting points. I wanted more from Ethan in terms of data and so forth, but it's an easy read and makes a great point.
Yeah, and he does the little example at the end about persuading people by lemonade versus water. And this is interesting because that is where these models can be taken, right, in subtle persuasion. What did you think, Paul? Important or essential?
Yeah, this is repeat in the sense that we had it was essential, and yesterday when they rolled it back, I think it's essential for the persuasion aspect of it. I mean, we're going to persuade people to buy products. We already have a lot of risk out there of people being persuaded to join AI cult. So it's an important nuance that the AI leader simply must know. So in that case, that's also important. I mean, also essential.
Essential. Okay, essential it is from the persuasion angle point of view. Okay, let's proceed. Ankash, please.
Okay, the next one comes from Anthropic, and Claude can now connect to your world in many different ways. So Anthropic has launched new integration tools for Claude.
Yes, I rated this article as essential. I believe that this is an underpinning of an distributed architecture where agents can link to many applications within the enterprise and externally with the right safeguards, and being able to communicate very powerfully across. So I feel that so it's essentially building on the MCP and allowing those protocols to connect to other applications and internal servers that are MCP driven. And there are specific examples of the integrations that really look powerful with Zapier, Confluence, and the other partners that Anthropic put together. So I think it's a very powerful infrastructural enabler that that this will allow, and that's why I thought it was essential. What did you think about this, Lucinda?
I'm right with you, Luda, as essential. Yesterday, I was conducting a lunch and share where we just do have like once a month a meeting to share like how are we using generative AI. And one of the people said, hey, it's fine that you can use Gemini to look around Google Workspaces, but I want to be able to look at all my communications and all my documents and see that I can see what's going on. And so literally, as I was reading the article last night, I just gave him this link. I think this is what you're looking for. I think this is going to be a fundamental underpinning of organizational efficiencies, and productivity that people can get on an individual basis. It does connect to Slack. I checked on that. Haven't tried it out yet, but yeah, I do think like this is a very important underpinning for getting your organization to adopt and leverage and really get efficient in their workflows.
Yeah, Zapier connects more than 100 apps together and creates already an essentially universe of various efficiency tools, and now connecting it seamlessly to MCP, that is a standard, is really powerful.
Yes.
What did you think, John?
Yeah, I'm totally with essential. Here we have a lot of people are trying to compete in the semantic coordination layer, if you will, AI coordination layer. We're just on with a client the other day, Vantic, and talking about what's really happening. We're kind of in version 1 of that orchestration layer, and here we have one that's kind of from the model out, if you will. There are others, Vantic, Langflow, and so forth. They're trying to do it from the outside in, if you will, trying to connect up things. And I think that the next one of the big themes of the rest of 25 and certainly 26 is going to be the maturation of this orchestration layer model and what that means. And obviously, Anthropic with MCP and these integrations made a big step up. If we can get on top of this, you think about what happened to computing when they went from individual devices to the creation of operating systems, and then what you could do with peripherals and connections to the network and so forth. It completely changed the face of it. And I think that's where we are with these. We're creating a specific operating system, and this is a big entry in that.
So, Paul, we're going to resounding essential here. Are you okay with that?
Yeah, just 2 other notes I want to make is, we've heard, even when ChatGPT 3.5 came out, that the number 1 request from companies is, I want ChatGPT 3.5 with my own data at work. And now it's taken long, but this is what's happening. I think second, it's highlighting this intergalactic war that's going on the vendors. Who's going to own the AI-based search for company data, both at the company data, the individual productivity level, and at the team level, and in the process and the company here. And this is one of many entrants. And I think what we're going to see continue to play out is, what will it be? Will you go to a Glean that has like a separate standalone interface, or will it be through interface like this? Obviously a lot of different choices here, but definitely essential, and definitely lots of interest in companies here, because this is really a way to light up value when staying within your secure framework and your responsible AI framework.
Yeah, great comments. Thank you, Paul. Essential it is. Let's proceed.
Okay, the next one that we have comes from Amazon, and Amazon has launched Nova Premier.
Yeah, that's another model that can train, or that can be a teacher to other models. Has quite interesting or quite good benchmarks. What did you think about this, John?
I was going to give this an important. I mean, I was on the fence with important and essential, but I'm going to give it important. Here we got a great new model, and this model has the ability to quantize its findings and then put it into smaller models for execution. Very important. Very easy to integrate. Nova capabilities. They have a lovely illustration here of how you would use this, for example, for the creation of a multi-agent analysis of financial services. Of companies for financial services or investing. Company where you could go to, for the momentum players, you can go in, and for folks who are worried about social sentiment, you can spin a model to go look at that. Then you have ones on the financial side. Great new model, everyday miracles, fantastic performance, quantization, easy integration. That's the model I was talking about, Akash. But I give it an important, because we've got so much going on here. But I could be talking to essential, certainly not optional.
Okay, certainly not optional. Lucinda, what did you think?
Yep, agree. Certainly not optional. Important. I was also kind of verging on essential. This is, the highly, Ironside's an AWS partner. This is the highly capable model that I've been waiting for. In this article, they only compare it to Pro and Lite. However, if you go to the underlying paper, they do compare it with Claude 3.7 and OpenAI 4.5, and it's pretty competitive. It's usually 5 or 6 points below those leaders. I think that with Amazon, you're basically only paying for Amazon, not OpenAI, or you're not paying for Claude or other vendors, through the Bedrock system. So, and it also Bedrock also takes care of all the infrastructure care and feeding of LLMs. Great point on the model and building using it as you can use Premier as the orchestrating LLM, and then you can have Pro or Lite, which are cheaper and faster to do the sub complex tasks. So I think really shows that Amazon keeps upping their game in generative AI, and this could be a good part of people's workflow.
Okay, sounds like important. Paul, okay with important?
Important.
Important it is. Okay, in some sense it's catch up though, so that's why I was thinking important as well. So important, but Vivek has this point about that Copilot is already about our prior discussion, that Copilot is already integrated and they have this type of functionality. Other people might have different responses to that, but MCP is a protocol that enables multiple other platforms integrations, and I think this is, and they can integrate with Copilot as well. So, but it gives a broader capability than this.
And I know we're jumping back there. I think the important point here, though, is that integration is great if people are on the road that has integration. So users consistently tell us they do not like Copilot. We consistently find people much prefer the OpenAI, ChatGPT, or the Claude interface. So they're on that road looking for connections here. So I think just because it's connected and just because Copilot's connected doesn't mean that you now have delighted the end user or the employee on actually using that as a interface.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you. Thanks, Vivek, for the comment. Appreciate it. Okay, let's go to this one is important. Let's go to the next one, please.
Sure, Luda. So the next one comes from Microsoft, and it is 5.4 Reasoning Technical Report.
Yeah, a long paper showing us how they trained 5.4. Lucinda, what did you think about this?
Well, I thought it was really interesting. I'm going to say optional, although I think about the people who worked so hard to basically do all these things. But at this point, because there's so many other models, and there's just a lot of different ways to be able to accomplish this. I think Fee4 with reasoning is good. It's open source, but you need to self-host it. It definitely punches above its weight. It's smaller, 14 billion parameter, kind of performing at a 70B level for a little bit older models. It also, their methodology includes the power of curated data sets, which are very important for kind of giving deliberate practice to the model as it's pre-training, boosted by reinforcement learning to get the performance. And you can see now how pre-training had now turned into many components, where now you leverage the raw scale of like massive corpi, as well as deliberate practice, curated data sets, and specialized research reinforcement learning on tasks with answers, such as the science or math. So why consider it? It's compact and strong, with strong reasoning. It does have open weights so that you can customize it. You can fine tune it on your own data, etc. But there is really not a lot of discussion about this model, either the 5.4 reasoning or the 5.4 reasoning plus. And so it just makes me wonder, like there are so many models, what's the compelling reason to choose this particular model?
Yeah. I was on the optional side myself. What did you think about this, John?
Yeah, I was more in the important thing. It really shows demonstrates really good performance against the bigger models. It does talk about it gives pretty practical blueprint for curating data pipelines and how it relates to supervised fine tuning, reinforcement learning, and their kind of evaluation philosophy of challenging this kind of single score evaluation. It's really about multiple ongoing, and so I don't know. And it's from Microsoft. I think of all the vendors, I think Microsoft may be doing the worst job in marketing. I mean, because they have a lot going on in Microsoft Research and as Vivek was saying, in their actual integrations and deployment. And I agree with you, Paul. A lot of people don't like Copilot, but anyway, I'd be okay with optional. I was leaning more toward important though.
Yeah, I'll tell you why optional in my book. They showed that providing good data raises performance. That was pretty clear. However, the model itself is trained on math and STEM and coding, period. And so that's really what it is for. And it also has the context length of 32K tokens, so it's small and will run into problems very quickly with that type of context length. So that's why I was thinking that they've done great research that can be carried across other places, but this particular model itself, I thought was not a keeper, really. Paul, what did you think?
Optional, Luda. Everyday miracle.
Everyday miracle. Okay, guys, by the power of a moderator, optional.
And the chalk.
And the chalk. Okay, let's go forward. And by the way, that we have a couple of new people joining. And Marianne here, welcome. And please give us your opinions. Ashish coming back. Really good. Thank you for joining us. All right. Optional it is. Let's proceed, Ankash.
Marianne had a question, Luda.
Okay. I don't see it. Sorry.
Yeah, I'm not sure. The articles, Marianne, are all available at gaiinsights.com/articles. And this PDF is underneath, just if you go to the link and then go to the research underneath it, it's available for Microsoft.
All right, let's proceed, Ankash, please.
Toluda. So the next one comes from AWS, and it's a case study how Flowcast has built an AI-powered accounting transformation solution with Claude 3 on Amazon Bedrock.
Yeah, it's a use case, has all the components, why it was built, how it was built, and what the impact is, with quite a bit of impact on the workflows and reduction of the time spent. So I was between optional and important, ended up on important, because if you think about the audits and looking for inconsistencies when you are in accounting. Every company has accounting group, whether it's even small companies, right? And everybody needs to audit their books to make sure that everything is okay, especially at the end of the year. So I felt that it is an important case study that has broad applications. That's why I went from optional to important. What did you think about this, John?
Yeah, I was a similar reasoning, but I was optional because I couldn't find any real economic impact. And this notion of integrating across different parts of the accounting value chain. Having worked at PwC, I was a consultant there, but I could play an accountant on TV. They've been worrying about this problem for something for a long time, and great application. Read to me a little bit too much like a product push and less about the impact, from the point of view of the user.
Yeah, it's actually hidden, John, at the very end of the article. If Ankash, you can scroll it to conclusion. It's the last sentence. It's 38 reduction in reconciliation time, 23% decrease in audit process duration. That can be major. 44% improvement in workload management also can be major. So they've put it to the end.
Yeah. So okay. I mean, yes. Maybe I've seen a lot of other attempts to do this, and
okay, no, that makes sense. Lucinda, what did you think?
All right, I'm going to be the one that's different. I'm actually going to say essential. The reason why is because I feel like this is an early peek at the future. We've been talking about RAG, we've been talking about agents. I think this is so interesting because it's putting together these components, right? It includes agents and RAG, and as well as you can see the architectural diagrams are starting to get more sophisticated. It's a really detailed example of how LLMs can take the pain out of painstaking processes that are error prone and time consuming and are done by humans, such as reconciling expenses and invoices. So it's good because they chose a high impact use case, and you can see the various impacts in that conclusion sentence there. So I do feel like it's utilizing the agents. I think that this sort of multi-component way of looking at it and a holistic end-to-end flow is going to be the basis by which workflows and organization and work get transformed. So I feel like it's essential only because it's a sneak peek at what is there. In terms of gaps, they didn't really say how they selected their models or what their evaluation processes were. They got to have a lot of evaluation processes there because it's really kind of, being poked into a lot of different steps. And then, whatever comments on scalability and maintenance. But it's, I just thought it was a very cool.
Yeah. Okay. Lucinda, Kevin agrees with you. What did you think about this poll? Are you on essential, important, or optional camp? Yeah.
Really well said, Lucinda. Takes the pain out of painstaking. Boy, I wanted that quote here. I'm unimportant, but I thought it was really well stated.
Okay. Yeah, it's also unimportant. I'm not sure we can put it. Well, John, okay, essential.
Yeah.
Lucinda is essentially saying essential.
Great point, Lucinda. It's a great example of a hybrid, next generation process automation, RAG plus RPA.
Yeah, I wouldn't argue in with this sort of how this will evolve type of argument. I think this is a good one. All right, essential it is. Let's proceed. Ankash.
Okay. Yes, Luda. So the last one comes from Financial Times and talks about how brands are targeting AI chatbots as users are switching from Google search.
All right, John, this is a topic we've been talking about,
Sure.
the bloodbath and the like. What did you think about this one?
Yeah, I gave this a super optional. The FT is losing their way here. There's no reporting here. It's it's a once over lightly report of the Bain report, and it's just you get either we have a lazy reporter here, or this is just a byproduct of cutting staff at the FT. There's no reporting here. It's whatever robots. A simple query to any of the robots would get you way farther than this thing.
Yeah, it's a shame. It's such a meaty
FT is a great magazine.
There's stuff happening, right? And here we have an article that doesn't have any depth.
Really made me feel old. I love, sitting in London with the, big pink broadsheets. That's all over now, baby.
Yeah, Lucinda, what do you think?
So actually, I thought the comments, and there were a lot of them, were more interesting than the article. I think the article does bring up a lot of good points. The concepts that they're bringing up are really important. We should have been able to dig more deeply on them. If I was to summarize the reader comments, of which, there was just a ton. There was a strong distrust of monetization, really people fearing like it'll be meet the new boss, same as the old boss, as ads take over ad motivations and going to the lowest common denominator will make the experience so bad. Skepticism over AI accuracy, concern over influence and manipulation, just like we were talking about in the first article. And they see parallels to past tech shifts and resistance to this. So anyway,
the article itself doesn't bring any of these. It's just about the topic, really.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. The comments were like kind of a gold mine.
Yeah, the comments, but I do love the quote. I love the reference to the Who. There we go.
Yeah. So, Paul, what did you think? We are going super optional, unfortunately, on this article. What did you think? Yeah, super optional. All right. Optional it is, unfortunately. But if you have time, read the user comments because they are a gold mine, as Lucinda stated. All right, Ankash, what do we have for today? And while you're doing that, Paul, you always have a slew of announcements, please.
Yeah, on Monday's Learning Lab, we're going to be going over ChatGPT Teams, which is the $30 a month, highly secure option for people who want to use ChatGPT at work in a highly secure way. Small companies like ours and others are also integrating in ours, and we'll share what we're doing here. But if you're interested in Teams and want to responsibly use ChatGPT at work and not be shadow IT, attend Monday at 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific to learn about OpenAI Teams. Second is we've also got 3 requests to do an OpenAI ChatGPT team support group, which I don't know if that doesn't exist. I can't find it, Lucinda and others. So if the people are interested in that, please let me know. We're certainly interested in supporting that if that really is the interest, because there's lots of like usability questions and everything else. Like, for instance, you have to have separate emails for your personal account and your business account. You can't pull over information from your personal account over to the business one. So those are the two main events. Third one actually is at 9 o'clock today. We're doing AI Blueprint for Massachusetts for people interested in the Massachusetts area. Tremendous amount of activity going on building up that ecosystem.
Yeah, 9 o'clock Eastern.
Eastern. Thank you.
Okay, Ankash, I don't see the scorecard. Oh, is it coming? All right. So we have, I thought, 3 essentials, 1 important, 2 optionals, correct? Yeah.
And Lucinda, I think we're starting to get to 6 to 8 essentials per week now. We used to fly at 3 to 4. I don't know if we need a higher grade, Lucinda. With the grade inflation's going up here. I mean, we're going to have like 15 essentials. I mean, what good is
No, I think there's a lot of enthusiasm, Paul. That's what's happening, I think.
I swear to God, Paul, I really looked at my ratings. And I'm like, am I just losing it here, or is there just so much going on?
Well, if you think about if the phenomenon is exponentially increasing and time frame is decreasing, then you should have more essentials.
Yeah.
Well, we have John, right, who is always getting us all his excitement into higher ratings.
Right.
Okay. Thank you all. Happy Friday. Thank you all for joining. Thank you for your comments. Really appreciate it. We'll see you on Monday. Thanks, Lucinda.